Hello and welcome to today's Bitrix24 full demonstration. In today's demonstration, we're going to showcase the complete functionality of the Bitrix24 system, along with sharing useful tips, tricks, and best practices. So if you're currently assessing Bitrix24, this demonstration will aid in your understanding of the diverse modules and features that the platform provides. Okay, so we'll just go through some introductions first of all. So my name's Sam Connor. I'm sales engineer here at Interface, and we're Bitrix24 Gold partners. We're based in the UK, the US, and Hong Kong, and we offer a full range of services to help you with Bitrix24. So starting off, we can provide pre-sale support to really help you to evaluate the Bitrix24 system. And if the solution is the correct product for what you're trying to achieve, we can then implement the Bitrix24 software into your business, really making sure it works exactly how you need the system to work. If you're interested in the self-hosted edition, we offer our own hosting services, and we provide bespoke training and ongoing dedicated support to help businesses get the most value out of Bitrix24. Okay, so if you're watching today's full demonstration to actually get some more understanding about what Bitrix24 is, let's just cover what Bitrix24 encompasses. So Bitrix24 is a collaboration suite of well in excess of 40 different tools that you can use to help you to manage your business. And there are over 12 million customers now around the world that use the Bitrix24 system. And the system is available in two different editions. So we have the Bitrix24 Cloud and also the Bitrix24 Self-Hosted, or also called Private Cloud Solution. Now, prices start from approximately $49 per month for a cloud-based system. And if you're looking at the self-hosted system, that starts with the Business 50 package, which is available for $2,990 in year one. And then you'll pay approximately 25% as a renewal fee in year two and ongoing annually. Okay, so in today's full demonstration, we're going to break down this demonstration into different modules. So first of all, we're going to look at the CRM and marketing module within Bitrix24. So we're going to see how we can capture and qualify leads quickly, see how we can create our own customized CRM system so we can manage our sales opportunities through bespoke sales pipelines, and we'll see how we can build a complete 360-degree picture of our customer activity. A new feature within Bitrix is SPAs, so we'll see how we can create bespoke entities and link those entities together inside the CRM. And then we'll take a look at the e-signature feature called Bitrix24 Sign. And then towards the end of this section, we'll look at some of the marketing automations and how we can create high-level dashboard reports of the data within our Bitrix24 system. Okay, so let's go into our Bitrix24 system. Now, first of all, just to explain the difference, some of the differences between the cloud and the self-hosted system. With the self-hosted system, you have access to the source code. So essentially, this means we can fully customize the system. So if you're interested in Bitrix and looking to be able to customize, have your own branding on the system, we can see here a login page for a self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. So you can have this fully customized with your own branding and your own domain here. Okay, so let's now go into the Bitrix24 system. Just to explain this, what we're looking at here is the browser edition of Bitrix24. It's also available on the desktop application and the mobile app as well. So if your staff, maybe say within the sales team or out of the office, in the field, discussing meetings and progressing sales with their clients, you could use the mobile app to keep the system up to date. Now, on the left-hand side here, we can see all of the modules that we're going to be looking at today. So this is your menu here where we can see all the different modules for Bitrix24. And with the self-hosted edition of Bitrix, what we can do is we can remove and customize this menu structure so we can simplify the UI here. So if you just wanted to show certain modules for certain users and roles in the system, with the self-hosted edition, we can strip out any functionality you don't require to keep the system as simplified as you need for each user. Okay, so first of all, we're going to be looking at the CRM and marketing module. So first of all, let's go into the CRM system. And within the CRM system, we're going to see how we can capture and qualify leads and progress those leads into sales opportunities inside the system. But first of all, I'm going to take you into what we call the contact center, because the contact center allows you to integrate lots of different communication platforms directly into the Bitrix24 system. So you can have all of your communications routed straight into the Bitrix24 CRM. So for example, here we can connect mailboxes. So from here, you could connect your Gmail or Outlook mailboxes into the Bitrix system. So you can sync all of your email communications with your leads and clients directly into the system. It's also possible to integrate telephone systems. So whether you rent a Bitrix24 number, or it's also possible to connect your existing phone numbers directly into the system. So then when a client calls, that information can automatically pop up with their details on the actual application that we're looking at here. So if we just call into the system, you'll see what we can do is we can have the contact details synced, and that will show on the Bitrix24 system. So we can see who is calling into the system. So we can see Sam Moon here is calling into our phone line connected with Bitrix, and I can then answer that call or transfer the call, etc., directly through the Bitrix24 system. And other very useful and commonly used features are, for example, website forms. So you can build website forms and embed those onto your websites, and also live chat as well. So you can create a live chat tool and embed that onto your website. So if we just go, for example, if we just go into our web page here, you can see on our Bitrix website, we've got a live chat set up. So I could go into here and ask the team, maybe within the sales team, specific questions. So you can have live communications with your prospects directly through your website, and that information can then sync directly into Bitrix. And there's also social media integrations such as Facebook and Instagram, so you can connect with these social media channels. So if people message you on these platforms, that information can automatically feed into your Bitrix24 system. So as we can see here, we've connected our Facebook page. So I can see here somebody has sent a message through our Facebook Messenger, and that has automatically come through to the Bitrix24 system. So I can respond to this person's question directly through our Bitrix24 system. Okay, and this functionality here, which is the open channel, this is how you would see any message through Instagram or through a live chat. All of those would be saved inside here for you to be able to respond to. And what's really nice with all of these different open channels is you can set up your own routing. So for example, on our live chat system here, we're going to have those live chats routed to specific people. So for different channels, you can decide who is responsible for dealing with those requests. So you can really monitor it and route different communications to the relevant members of your team. And those communications can also automatically create a brand new lead inside your CRM system. So you can see the contact center is a really powerful tool to integrate with lots of different external platforms to feed information directly into your Bitrix24 system. And that then leads us on nicely to look at leads inside the system here. So let's say if we had a web form on our website, the user could submit their details on the web form, and that could then automatically then create a lead inside the system here. Now, we use leads in Bitrix to qualify leads, so we can go through specific stages to capture enough information to decide if this is a genuine business opportunity that we want to focus our time on. And inside leads here, you can see you can progress the leads through different stages. And if we just go into the pipeline view, then you can see those stages across the top here. And what you can do is you can progress your leads through those different stages like so. And the stages that you have here, those stages are completely customizable. So you can have as many or as few stages as you require. You can change the name, the terminology. So it's completely customizable to what your lead qualification process would be. And on those stages, what we can do is we can set up automation rules. So for example, as soon as the lead comes into the system here as a new lead, we could send them a thank you email, thanking them for their new inquiry. And it can be dynamically populated with information from the lead itself. So we can pull in data from the CRM, and this is then going to automatically send out an email to that lead through the system. But what we could also do is set up activities for the sales reps. So we could schedule calls for the sales rep to contact the lead, and we could create tasks as well through the system. So as you progress your leads through different stages, we can set up a huge number of different automations, from tasks, communications to the client, it could be notifications to certain members of your team as you progress the lead through different stages. And we'll see we can do the exact same inside deals as well. Okay, so if we just go into a lead, just to show you what the page here looks like. So on the left-hand side here, we can see all of the details about the lead. And what's really nice within Bitrix is you can create custom fields. So here you can create as many custom fields as you require to capture specific information and detail inside the system. And you can break this down into different sections. So let's say, for example, you might want to have a finance section where you store financial information about the lead. You can create your own bespoke sections here to really customize the UI to capture the data that you need. And then on the right-hand side here, we have what we call the activity stream. So this is where the contact center integrations really come into play. So we saw how we could connect email, Facebook, telephone. All of those activities then with that lead will sync into the right-hand side. So we can see email communications that have taken place with the lead. I can view where we've had communications through the Facebook integration. So any communications that you have with your lead, all of this information is saved in the right-hand side here. And what's really nice as well through here is you can filter through any communications. So I could drill down, I might just want to look at all of our internal notes and comments that have taken place with that lead. I could see all of the internal history here. I can see who is responsible internally for any of that communication. So you have that activity stream here on the right-hand side. And what we can do inside here as well is we could schedule activity. So if I want to get in contact with the lead, I could schedule an activity into the system here. Okay, so let's say I'm going to call Sam tomorrow, and I can save that activity inside the system, and that will be added into my activity planner. And there's different actions here. So I could add more notes about the lead. And we could also connect, for example, documents. So if you wanted to store information on the lead here, all of that history is then saved here in the right-hand side of the activity area. And we can even send, if you integrate SMS, we could send SMS communications directly through the system. Okay, so we could say, send out an SMS. So there's a huge variety of different types of communications we could send directly through the system here, including emails as well. So we could set email templates and send out manual email communications as well, as also the automated processes. Okay, so that's a look at the lead page. And if we just progress the lead through some stages here, you can see as we do those stages, it's now automatically creating activities and sending out the email communications using those automation rules that we've just looked at. So everything about that lead, you could really start to automate the sales process to qualify the lead inside the system. And if we just go back into the list view here of leads, just to mention, as you can throughout the CRM, there's a really high quality filtering tool here. So any custom fields you use as segments, you can drill down into that information through the system here. So if I wanted to look at maybe all of the leads based on certain stages, or also maybe based on certain maybe types of lead that we have qualified in the system, I could drill down that data through the filtering tool like so. And once we have progressed the lead through those customized stages, so we've qualified that lead hopefully, and it's a genuine opportunity that our team can work on, What we can then do is we can convert that lead into a different entity. And specifically through here, we can then create a contact, company record, and also a deal. And a deal in Bitrix is where we can manage the genuine sales opportunities inside the system. And within deals, what we can do is we can create pipelines. So we can segment our sales opportunities into the correct pipeline, one for reporting purposes, but it also could be maybe based on your sales processes. You may have different types of sales that an opportunity could go through. So you can create pipelines to segment your sales opportunities. So through here, then I could create opportunity inside the UK pipeline, and I can then save that information. And then through here, we can then generate the deal, the contact, and the company directly inside the system. And that's now generated the new deal inside the UK pipeline. Okay, so that's where we can then move from leads to deals and into the customers area. We can see our contacts and companies. So let's just go into the contact database, because what we can see inside here is all of our contacts inside the system here. So what you can do as an administrator, we can see all of the information about our contacts in the system. And this information here, again, is completely customizable. So I could configure the actual structure of information here. I can change the layout of the information. And as the administrator here, I can actually decide what custom fields I want to show inside the front end here. So if you're creating custom fields to capture specific information, you can store that information inside the contact database here. And if we go into a contacts page, inside the contact area, very similar to leads, so we can see all of the information about the contact here. One key difference is within the contact area, you can see the company that the contact is associated with, and you can associate a contact to multiple companies inside the system here. And then on the right-hand side, again, we can see the activity log. So all of the communications and dialogue that take place with the contacts. So we can see emails, SMS. I can see phone calls as well, so I could play the phone calls back. So all of that data is saved inside the contact page. And any activities such as tasks, I can see all of that data inside the system here. So essentially with the Bitrix CRM here, you get to have a complete 360-degree view of all of the interactions that take place with the contact inside the system. And if we just go into our company database, then inside here, we can see all of the company records inside the system. And if we just go into one of our companies, the key difference in the company database is you can see all of the individual contacts here that are associated with your company. So here we can see Sam Moon and Stephen Taylor's are the contacts associated with the company. Now, so we have that connection there, the parent-child relationship. And obviously within here, we can see all of the deals that this client is associated with. So when we create deals, we can connect those with the contact and the company inside the system. So I can see all of the sales history associated with this client. I can see what deals have been won, what are currently open, and what's being worked on. And I can click into any of those deals and see all of the information about that deal directly inside the deal page. So you have all of that connection through the system here. And what we'll do from here then is let's go into the deals area. So actually we can see all of the deals that are currently being worked on. Now, we mentioned how you can create pipelines to segment deals into their relevant area or category. So we're currently in our UK office here, pipeline. And so again, you can create customized stages, just like you can in leads. Within deals, you can create those stages to progress the sale through to hopefully closing and winning that sales opportunity. And what's really nice in deals is you can create those different pipelines, and the stages are completely different in every single pipeline that you create, and so are the automation rules. So you could, and what we commonly see is we can create pipelines for the different maybe types of services that you offer. And you can then use those different stages and automations to streamline that specific sales process inside an individual pipeline. And so if we just go back into the UK pipeline, let's go into one of the deals that we're currently working on. So we can see what value here we have at each stage of the sales process. So this is really good for forecasting. We get that high level overview here of what value we have at every stage of the sales process. And if we go into the deal, first of all, we can see the information connected to the deal. So we can connect the contact and the company that's associated with this deal. So here we're currently working on a deal to close on-site training. And then we can connect all of the history of the dialogue and communication about the deal. So we can see some communications that have taken place. I can see some planned activities in here. And what you can do in the deal is you can add products to generate a value connected with the deal. So you can add a product catalog into your Bitrix24 CRM. So all the different products and services you offer, you can add that information into your product catalog, or you could also manually add the products into the system here. So we can see here we've got a half-day training course. Now within the CRM system as well, you can add inventory. So maybe you have certain stock levels of the products that you have inside the CRM system. With the inventory system on Bitrix, we can add stock levels. So as you're using those products inside the system here, once that stock is used up, we can then stop any further products being added into the deal. So we can see the quantity levels here. So you can add inventory stock levels into the CRM system here. So we've got our products information on the deal, and we can then see that's added an order value to the deal. And as we then progress the deal through the different stages of this sales cycle, we can then see here we need to send out the quote. So within the CRM system, we can generate those financial documents, such as quotes and invoices, directly through the system. And also what we can set up are rules. So as we progress the deal through different stages, as you can see here, we can set rules on custom fields to make sure we're capturing the specific information we need at every single stage of the deals process. So here I need to put the expected close date of the deal because I'm trying to send this through to the quoting stage. So we can put rules in place to make sure specific information is captured at the correct stage of the deals process. So I can now move over to the quotation stage. So what we can do through here is I can generate a quote using the product information from the deal. So if we go into our quoting area here, this then opens up the quote page. And what's really nice within the Bitrix CRM system is you can upload your own templates, such as quote templates, and we can then use the Bitrix document generator to actually generate your own personalized documents inside the system. So we've got our quote information here. The product data has pulled through along with the contact and company. So I can go to our document area here and I can generate the quote template that we can then use to send out to the client. So here you can see it's generated as the quote in the system. So it's pulled through the product information, pulled through the client data, and I can then download this document, or I could send this out as for example, as an email directly through the system. Okay, so we essentially can manage the whole sales cycle directly through the Bitrix24 CRM system. And what's a really nice feature on quotes and invoices is we can set up stages. So I've just sent out this quote to the client. So I'm going to move this to the waiting on client stage. And if we go into the automation rules, just like you can on leads and deals, we can set up automated activities based on the stages of quotes and invoices. So I think this is a really nice one here. So if we're at the waiting on client stage, if we're still at this stage in 4 days' time, I'm going to receive a notification as the sales rep responsible for this quote to get back in contact to try and get this quote closed and progress through to an invoice. So you can see how we could use automations to really try and help close more sales opportunities through the Bitrix24 CRM system. And all of this information is then connected back to the deal. So once we've approved and generated the quote inside the system here, I can then generate the invoice as well. So this is all linked back to our deal inside the system. And just like with quotes, you can then upload your own invoice template to generate that invoice through the system. And we can see all of that is now connected inside the deal. Okay, so we can see how we can progress deals through the system, and we can see how we can forecast our information inside the system. It's also really important as well that we can use the Bitrix CRM system, not just to use leads and deals, but a new feature we have is a feature called Smart Process Automation. Okay, so if we go into here, we have a feature here called Smart Process Automation. What this allows you to do is you can create your own bespoke entities inside the CRM system and connect those through the existing tools of the CRM. So for example, we have lots of charities that use the Bitrix system, and they need to be able to capture donations from their contacts inside the system. So using SPAs, we can create brand new entities and connect those with the contact inside the system. So for example, if we go back into the contact page, you can see we have a donations area. So as a charity, what we're able to do is we can upload and capture donations associated with our clients directly inside the system. So if I go into this donation from this client, I could see all of the information about the donation that this client has submitted into the system here. So just like with leads and deals, you can create custom fields to capture the relevant information that you have on that particular deal. And you can also create customized stages to progress that specific entity. So for example, here is where capturing donations. We've got the donation gets submitted, it then gets processed, and then we have to do some final checks on the donation. So with the SPA feature, we can create brand new entities inside the CRM system and create workflows to really customize that particular entity to your specific requirements. So this really takes the Bitrix CRM system to that next level, because it truly makes this CRM system completely customizable to the entities and to the processes that you would want to capture on your specific CRM. Okay, so that's a very high level look there at how we can use the CRM system to manage inquiries, progress through to deals, and store all of that information to the correct contact in the system. But we also can do very high level dashboard reporting as well. So there's lots of data, obviously, that we're storing inside here. And we have the analytics area here, which pulls in that information, and we can then create high level dashboard reports. So here, for example, we can see all of our sales staff and see how well they've converted leads into deals, and then what the value of those deals are and how many leads they converted into sales inside the CRM system. We could also track their targets. So we can do targets here and see how well they're tracking to their targets inside the system. We could see, for example, our top grossing clients. So essentially all of the data from the CRM system, we can then use to create high level dashboard reports for analyzing all of the sales information from the CRM system. And just to move on from the CRM system, we also have the marketing module. So all of the data from the CRM system, we can then actually use to create marketing campaigns. So in the marketing module, there's different types of campaigns we can create, from email campaigns. If you integrate an SMS provider, we can create SMS campaigns. We also have Facebook messengers and voice broadcasts. So if you integrate telephony, you could actually create voice broadcasting or audio calls. So you could type out a message, which then gets sent out as a phone call to the client. But if we click onto email campaigns, let's just see, Bitrix enables you to create marketing campaigns directly through the marketing module. So here, for example, you could upload your own custom HTML, or you could use one of the many templates that Bitrix24 has to offer. And then what this allows you to do is very similar to other marketing design campaign systems out there. So you can add your text. I can upload my images into the system, and it uses block technology. So I could upload different blocks to design the campaign. And I can then preview what that looks like on different devices. So from a phone to a tablet and a desktop. And what's really nice with the marketing module is what we can do is I could then send this campaign out to a very targeted segment of our system. So for example, here I could pull in all of the information from our lead database. So I might just want to send this out to all of the leads, maybe at a certain stage of the lead process, but also maybe based on what type of lead they are. So if they've requested a demo, for example, I could send out just to those leads who've requested a demo and who are at those specific stages of the lead process. So you can send out very targeted marketing campaigns through the system here. And we could also do the same through our contact database as well. And once those campaigns have been sent, you can then also see analysis of the information from those campaigns. So inside the campaigns area here, we can see all of our completed campaigns inside the system. If we just go on to actually see the analysis here, you'll be able to see the recipient list, so who's actually read or clicked on the campaign. And we can then see the number of views and clicks. And further down here, you'd also see a click map. So you'll be able to see where on the campaign your clients have actually clicked through. So you can have that really nice marketing piece here to connect the data from the CRM system to send out very targeted marketing campaigns through the Bitrix24 application. And as we mentioned at the start of today's full demonstration, we're looking at the browser edition of Bitrix24, but there is also the Bitrix24 mobile app. So if your sales team is out of the office and maybe they're actually on a client visit, what we could also do is use the Bitrix mobile app to actually update maybe what stage the deal is at inside the system, for example. So what we'll do now is let's just take a look at the Bitrix24 mobile app. So if we just bring up the mobile application here, okay, so let's just get this into full view. Okay, so here we can see the mobile app for Bitrix24. So as we have just seen through the deals, as we're going through the browser system, we can see on the mobile app here, we can see all of those deals that we're currently working on inside the system. And I can filter through my different pipelines. And the deal we were just working on there, on-site training, I can view all of the information about that deal directly through the mobile app. So I can see the stage it's at, the value, I can see the fields that we have through the deal. And I can see as the timeline here, all of the updates on that deal. So you have all of the history directly through the mobile app. And I, for example, I'm going to move the deal to the negotiation stage. So now we're speaking with the clients at the negotiation stage, and I've just had my meeting with them at their office. And now I've updated through the mobile app the information about that deal. So this is a really nice UI as well through the mobile app. So I can see all of my information on here. And I could also go into my contact database and see all of my contacts through the system here. And I can click through to my contacts and view all of the data through the mobile app as well. So we see a lot of our clients use the mobile application. It's a really useful tool if you've got field sales teams who need to be able to update their deals through the system. You can use the Bitrix24 mobile app to be able to keep your sales all up to date. And that will then automatically update through the Bitrix24 CRM on the browser as well. Okay, so that's a look at the CRM and marketing system of Bitrix24. What we'll move on to now is to look at actually tasks and projects. So we can now, for example, once we have completed a sale and the deal has been won inside the system, we could then actually manage the client project using tasks and projects inside Bitrix24. So Bitrix has a really powerful project management tool. So we can create projects and manage all of the tasks connected to that project. We can use automations to actually automate workflows of tasks through the system. And we'll have a look at how we can do Gantt chart reports and also have an external user feature so we can invite clients into their project as an external user through the system. So let's go back into the Bitrix24 system and let's go into our work groups area, because this is where we can manage all of the information about projects inside the system. So in our work groups area, we can see all of the projects that are currently being worked on inside our Bitrix24 system. And if you wanted to create a new project through here, we can click on the Create Project area. And this then gives us the option to decide what type of project we want to run. So if you're wanting to have a project with start and end dates, where all of the tasks have to be completed by the end date of that project, you want to use the project type here. Or you can use the work group feature. So if you maybe just want to have an area to collaborate with people, there's no start or end dates, so very much like a department group, for example, you could use the work group feature. So if I just click on to project here, first of all, I can give the project a title. So inside here, I can add a title for the project. Okay, and I could also add a description for what I would maybe want to add, maybe some more information about what this project is for the people when we invite them into the project. And I just really want to show you here before we go into a project, how we can, first of all, have project dates. So as I mentioned, we can have project start dates and end dates. And what's really nice in projects is we can turn on and turn off different features for every single project that we have inside the system. So for example, if I know I'm going to have a project where I want to manage tasks, we can turn on the tasks feature. If I know I'm going to store documents and information, I'm going to turn on the drive area here as well. So for every project you have, you can customize what features you turn on and turn off for that project. But you could also come back into here. So in the future, if you want to maybe turn on additional functionality, you could always come back into here to add additional features. We can then also choose what type of project this is. So if you want to keep this hidden from all users and just invite certain people, you can keep it hidden. Or it could be public, so anyone can access that particular project through the system. Or if you want to be able to let people request invite to the project, you could also have a private project as well. So you can customize the level of access here. And then on projects, you can have different layers of ownership, of management, essentially. So first of all, we can have a project owner, but then what we can do is also we could have project moderators. So that's like a middle layer of management. And then we could also have any additional employees that we want to add to the project as well. And what's really nice using this different layer of ownership is we can set permissions. So we may say, for example, owners and moderators are able to add tasks into the project, whereas any other team members, they're only able to work on those tasks, for example. So you can set very granular permissions once we have those different layers of ownership on the project. Okay, and inside the project area here, then, just to show as well, you've got a filtering tool. So if you wanted to drill down or create tags to segment those different projects, you could use the filtering tool to do that. So for example, here, I might just want to look at all of the projects of our sales department. I could drill down into that information like so, very easily. And also as the administrator here, again, just like in the CRM, I could customize what information I want to show in this project area as well. But let's just go into a project and we can see what a working project looks like inside the Bitrix system. So first of all, and really most importantly, within projects in Bitrix is you can have a task area to manage all of the tasks that are being worked on the project. And so here, for example, we can see all of the projects. This is in a list view, so I can see all of the information on the tasks on this project. Again, you've got a filtering tool, so you can drill down into any of the information about your tasks. So let's just say if I want to see all what's overdue, I could prioritize my time to look at that information in the system. But there's lots of different ways we can view tasks inside the system here. So for example, here's a Kanban view. So you can create different stages, very customizable again for your Kanban project management style. And so you can move your different tasks through the different stages of a Kanban display for projects. I think this is probably my favorite view. This is the deadline view. So based on your tasks that have deadlines, this is automatically then placing the tasks into the relevant area based on when the deadline of the task is. So I can see here, I think this is really useful for prioritizing what needs to be worked on in the project. So I can see what's overdue, what's currently due this week. So I can really prioritize our time on the project. And what's really nice as well is on any of these views, you can click into the task and it will open up the task page. So you can store all of the information about the task on the task page here. You can create checklists to tick off different information that needs to be completed and view that history in the system. And you can also have a communication zone. So here you can have communications on a task by task basis. Okay, so I can check for updates on the tasks. All of that information is then saved in the task page. And so that's really nice to have focused communications rather than having, say, endless emails on different tasks. You could save all of the information in the system here on the task. And you can also log time on tasks as well. So you can use the time tracker and see the total amount of time that's elapsed on your tasks in the system. And just to show you a few other views for tasks, so you've got your own personalized planner view. So this is really your own bespoke way of managing your tasks on the project. So you can create your own stages and move your tasks into their relevant area. This doesn't impact any other user on the project. Each person in the planner has their own personalized view for their tasks. We also have a calendar, so we can see, say, tasks by deadlines. And there's also the Gantt chart view. So you can have a very high level overview here of your tasks in a Gantt chart display as well. So you can see there's lots of different ways we can view and manage tasks in the project. But as we saw when we created the project, there's lots of other features you can enable inside the project as well. So first of all, we have a feed area. So on here, what we can do is we can communicate with the rest of our team. So it's like a very modern intranet board solely for this particular project team. Okay, so through here, we can add messages. Okay, so let's catch up today and send this to the rest of the project team. And any of those messages, we can add our own likes and comments back through the system here. So this really gets rid of any emails that you currently use. You can use the feed section to communicate through the project. You can also turn on a drive area, so you can store documents in the drive space. And what's really nice here is we can set access rights. So you can decide who is able to access certain documents through the drive space here. And we've also got a calendar as well. So any specific meetings or events could be saved inside the calendar of the project. And we've also got a chat as well. So we can have live communications directly for this project. And there's different ways we could actually manage this. So I'm showing you here as an instant chat tool, but you could also set up voice calls and video calls directly through the project team as well. So there's lots of different ways you can then communicate with your team on the project. And we mentioned as well how you can set up an extranet site. So if we just show you here, what you could also do is you can invite your external clients who are maybe part of the project. You can invite them into their particular project so they can collaborate with you directly on that project. So as an external user here, you can see the UI on the left-hand side is a lot more simplified. So they don't have access to any of the internal areas. But here, for example, this client, they could access their project that you have given them access to. They can then communicate with you through the feed section here and just have that really high level collaboration directly through the Bitrix portal. But we really do have granular permissions, so they don't have access to any of the internal areas of the Bitrix24 system. So that's a really nice feature you can enable to have external users added to your projects. And if we just go into the tasks and projects area here, obviously we've just looked there at one individual project. The tasks and projects area then gives you the ability to have a high level overview of all of the different projects that are being worked on. So here we can see all the different projects such as Mega Project, BizTech Project. I can see all of the different tasks that are being worked on across all those projects here. We can also see a project efficiency score and a performance score. So here, this gives you a really high level overview of all of the projects within the system. And this performance score calculates how many tasks have been completed on time or are currently in progress and on track. So the deadline of that task has not been hit yet. So this gives you a really nice, quick, high level overview of really what projects are on target or on time through the system. So we can see what needs to be worked on through the actual dashboard here. And you can also do this on a granular level as well. So I can see my own efficiency score, and I can see the efficiency score of each individual person that I'm responsible for through the system here. So I know who I need to maybe have some communications with to try and help them get back on track. I can use filters to set specific filters. So here, I'm just seeing whose efficiency is below 50%. These are the people that I need to help work on to get their tasks back on track. So you can see here, there's lots of ways we can do reporting. So you can do very high level dashboard reports, again, analyzing the information on our projects through the system here. And quite nice as well is the involvement chart. So if you're wanting to maybe set up new projects, you need to be able to see maybe who's working on what tasks at any given time, who has the capacity to actually work on future tasks. We can use the involvement chart here to actually see who's available to work on tasks through the system. So I can see Andrew Naylor's available. So if I'm going to set up a new project and assign some tasks, I can see Andrew is somebody who has the capacity to work on those tasks inside the system. So this gives you that nice high level view. And obviously we've seen how we can use the CRM system to complete those sales opportunities. One feature you could enable actually through automation rules is actually you could create a project group directly through the CRM system. So as soon as a deal is won, what we could do is we could set up an automation rule here, which automatically creates a project in the project management area. And we could have specific tasks here that have to be automatically, maybe mandatory tasks that are added to that project through the system. So you can see, actually, rather than having to manually create a project, as we saw, you could actually use some of these automation rules to automatically have that deal and project added to the system. So what I'm doing here, actually, I'm going to create this project. I'm going to have that deal marked as one inside the system. And you can now see this on-site training project has automatically been created inside the system. So we're using automation rules to actually automatically have that project created. So if we go into our workgroup area, I can drill down here and I can see that that deal has now automatically created a brand new project inside the system here. And we can see all of the different tasks that have now automatically been created inside the system. So this is just to show how using Bitrix as an all-encompassing system, we can connect the CRM and the project management tools together using automations. So that process there, that really saves time. It can save really any errors from human interference. So obviously humans can make errors, and that's a time-consuming process, having to create that project from scratch. So we could use automation rules to automatically have that project created inside the system for you. And that can then be managed by our team who are working on projects. Now, this is one style of managing projects using tasks. We also have a new feature within Bitrix, which is the Scrum feature. So if you're wanting to manage Scrums, then Bitrix has the ability to use the Scrum tool as well. So inside here, we can set up Scrums, and through here, you can then set up your own Scrum actual ideology of project management. So inside this particular Scrum, we can see the current sprints that are being worked on inside the system. I can see the backlog here for tasks that need to be added into future sprints. So I can add the backlogged items into the future sprints here. And then we can also add story points to these different tasks to determine how difficult a rating is for those tasks. And I can go into the active sprint and I can see all of the tasks that are currently being worked on in this particular sprint. And I can see all of the information about that task in the system. And once those tasks are completed, we then have to complete the definition of done. So we can ensure every single piece of functionality relevant to that specific task is completed through the system here. So this is a completely different way of maybe managing tasks. You could use the Scrum feature within the Bitrix24 system to manage those tasks as well. So you can really decide what is the best way for you to manage your tasks inside the system. Okay, so that's a look at tasks and projects. Now, moving on, we're going to now have a look at another area of Bitrix24, which is HR and collaboration. So Bitrix has many tools here for essentially bringing your different teams together so we can find employee information, we can manage work time and personal areas, and we'll have a look as well at some of the different ways we can manage our own workflows using self-service forms, and we'll see how we can create knowledge bases to capture and store information inside the system to bring teams together. And obviously, within lots of organizations that we have that use Bitrix24, they are global organizations that have offices all over the world. So it's really important to be able to bring those different users together and make them feel as one organization. And the tools within Bitrix24 really allow you to do that incredibly well. Okay, so let's now take a look at some of those HR tools in detail. So first of all, just to mention, for each user in the system, you have your own profile page. So that could be a real image of myself, for example, and I can store all of the information about my details inside my product area here. And I can also create custom fields to capture additional information. And then across the top here, I've got shortcuts to lots of different areas of my Bitrix24 system. So let's say I want to see all of my tasks. I could drill down and see all of the tasks through my page. If I wanted to see my Drive area, I could see all of my documents through my Drive space here. So you've got shortcuts to lots of different areas here of your system. And then we can also see a very high level overview of all of our company through our employee database here. So here we can see the company structure. Okay, so this allows us to set up all of our different departments of the organization, and that can include sub-departments like so. So you can really set up that hierarchy of all of the structure of your company. I think this is really useful for new employees within an organization, because this is a really nice overview of being able to see all of the different departments. And then I can see all of the different users across those different departments like so. And what's really nice through the HR features of Bitrix is I can click into here and I could click into that user's profile to say, for example, see Mark, and I can then use the communication channels to communicate with that person directly through the Bitrix24 system. Okay, so through here, I can then have an instant chat with Mark. I could set up a video call or a voice call, and I can see all of my different chats directly through my chat system here. So I can see my project chats, I can see my chats with individual people. So you can have all of your different communications. They can all be managed through your chat system of Bitrix24. And then you also have an employee directory as well. So through here, we can store all of the information for all of our employees through the system here. And I might want to drill down to find the information of a certain user, then I could do so through the filtering tool here. So it enables you really to capture all of the relevant information about your employees. And as an administrator here, what I can do is I could turn on and turn off different pieces of information. So maybe I don't want to show date of births of people, so I could turn off that field. But maybe if I want to show the skills of all of our employees, I could turn on the skills feature. And so as maybe a new starter, I need to find the people within the business who are associated with the payroll. And then I could drill down into that information and find that data through the system here. So you can use the HR features in Bitrix to really enable your organization's people to find relevant people within the organization who can help that person. So that could save significant amounts of time on wasted energy, essentially, through the system. Now, another really nice feature within the Bitrix24 application is how we can log time. So if we just go in to look at one of our other employees within the system, you can see here they've got a flashing time banner here. So what we can do through the HR features is we can log our working day through the Bitrix24 system. So now I'm logged in for the day and I can record the amount of time that I'm spending on my work for this particular day. And then you have a work time area. So you'll be able to see every user's work through the system. So I can see Mark's just logged in, and we'll be able to see when Mark clocks in, clocks out, and the amount of break they have through the application here. Now, what you can also do is you could set up work schedules. So what we could do is you might want to set specific schedules for when employees need to be working at any given time. So through here, what we could do is for different employees, we could set their working hours and choose what time periods that this schedule is going to apply for. And then we could set up actual violations of that clock in and clock out time. So we may say, for example, if their schedule is to start at 9 a.m., they're able to clock in up to 9:30 a.m. But if they've not clocked in by that time, then we're going to be notifying specific people within the HR area, for example. So you can see how we could set up these HR features to really enable you to keep control to make sure your staff are working at the correct time through the system. Okay, so that's a look at how we can set up our work time area inside the system. Now, another really useful feature is how we can set up workflows through the Bitrix24 system. Using HR features here, what we can do is we can create our own workflows. So this could be, for example, to request annual leave through the Bitrix24 application. So what we're going to see here is how I, as a user, can request leave for holiday directly through the system. Now, I'm going to show you holiday, but you could really create any type of workflow using the workflow tools in the Bitrix24 system. But if I wanted to request annual leave through the application here, this now opens up a form that I need to complete. Now, this form is completely customizable. So again, you can decide what pieces of information are mandatory, maybe what additional information can be added into the system here. But let's now request some annual leave. So I'm going to request this holiday for next month. Okay, so I'm going to add my dates into here. I'm going to add a reason for the request, and I'm going to submit that annual leave request into the system. Okay, so I can now see that request has now gone to my manager to either approve or reject. So if we just look at this now as the manager inside the system, I can see I've been notified that a new holiday request has come into the system for me to approve or reject. So I can see that has come through. I can see all of the information about the request. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to approve that request inside the system. And then what we'll see is actually this request will now automatically be added into the absence chart. Okay, so what we can do is if we go back into our employee database, we'll be able to go into the absence chart here. And what this will show is all of the holiday leaves across the organization, or it could be business trips, it could be sick leave, any type of absence across the organization, you could save inside the absence chart here. So we can see Mark Hope's request has been added to the absence chart. So as a HR team, you can use the workflow tools here to manage all of those different types of workflows directly inside the Bitrix system. And if I just quickly show you that workflow tool, if we go into the workflow directory, then we can see what this leave looks like in a bit more detail. So if we go into our leave approval workflow, then we can go into the workflow area here. And what we can see, this opens up the workflow designer tool. And this is essentially what we can do to create our very own workflows inside the Bitrix24 application. And this is what we call a sequential business process. So here we can, first of all, we requested the holiday leave inside the system. So that's just what we've seen. We've completed that form. And then that leave went to our supervisor here. So we had to either request that leave, and we either had that leave approved or the leave was rejected inside the system. Now the manager approved that leave. So that then forced the actual flow of the workflow here. So because we approved it, it then goes down this specific channel of the workflow. So it uses a condition. Because it was approved, we then notified the user that that leave was requested. And then that annual leave is added into the absence chart, just like we saw. But if the leave was rejected, then what would have happened is that leave would have automatically been rejected, and the requester would just have been notified that the leave had been denied through the system. So you can use this business process designer tool to essentially create any type of workflow inside the system. So you use the action blocks here on the right-hand side to create the business process and workflow of your specific requirements. So you can really customize this to create any type of workflow through the system. But also what we can do is we can use another type of workflow, and that is using what we call robotic process automation tools. So this is a different type of tool that we can use to create a workflow inside Bitrix24. So if we just go into, for example, here to look at our business trip expense workflow, you can see the UI here using robotic process automation. It is very different. And the key difference here is that we can use stages here to create that workflow. And once we've created those stages, we can set up automation rules. So this is very similar to leads and also deals inside the CRM system. We can create stages, and then through those stages, we can create automation rules to actually move a process of this expense. So for example, once we've created an expense inside the system, it then goes to the supervisor, and we automatically notify the supervisor to either approve or decline the expense inside the system. So it's very similar to the business process designer tool, but rather than going through a flow here from a start point to an end point, we can use stages and automation rules to create that process inside the system. And you can see here for this business trip, we've got some different expenses that are currently being worked on inside the system. And if I click into that expense, I can see all of the history of that expense inside the system. And I can leave my own comments and communications directly on the actual expense. I can have all of my communication and dialogue saved directly on the expense page here. So this is a really nice way of actually alternatively creating your own workflows inside the system. And if we just come out of here, so that's how we can create workflows inside the system. Some other very useful HR functionality are the Drive area. So inside Bitrix, you can store documents inside here as a document repository. And you can set access rights to decide actually who's able to access those documents through the system. And what's really nice through here as well is you can also use Bitrix Docs. So actually you can create your very own documents using the Bitrix24 document tool. And this then enables you to update documents live on the system. Okay, so we can type out and add information to this document, and we could have other users in Bitrix updating and editing this document directly through the application. So the Bitrix Docs feature is a really nice tool to have generating documents through the application. There's also a company drive as well. So we've seen how we can have an individual drive area to store our documents. You can also set up your own company drive. So you could set up, essentially maybe for different departments, you could set up a repository here to store documents for each department. And again, you can then set permissions. You can also connect external devices. So for example, Google Docs or Office 365, you could connect different documents from those external platforms into the Bitrix system. And then we also have a calendar as well. So inside here, you can add all of your different meetings and events. This can talk with the CRM system to pull in activities. And you can also have a company calendar as well to store company-wide events inside the system. And we can then synchronize your external calendars into the application as well. Okay, so let's look at the drive and the calendar area. Now, if we just go into the feed section here, this is essentially your intranet board where any associations through the Bitrix system, whether that's if someone tags you in a comment, maybe there's a workflow that you have now been sent for either approving or rejecting a new request inside the system. This will be added into your feed area. So this is essentially your own personal area for anything you are associated with inside the Bitrix24 system. And through any of the different articles here, so such as this leave request, you can add your own likes and comments on any of those entities inside the feed. So it allows you to collaborate with any colleagues on any specific article or communication that you are associated with. And then you also have the actual feed section here. So actually, rather than having to send emails, you can actually send out communications through the feed like so. So if maybe you want to send critical messages to people, you can send those messages to specific departments or users or all employees directly through the feed section. So this is really useful to actually communicate with all of your organization using the feed tools. So I've just posted a message out there. What we could also do is we could create events, or we could create polls if there's maybe questions we want to ask our colleagues, and we can then have different answers that they can select from through the system. We can also send out appreciations. So maybe if someone's done a really good job, we could send them a badge just acknowledging our response to their good work. So I could send, for example, Mark Hope here, this badge. So if you wanted to reward your staff, then you can use some of the tools here to send out those messages. And I'm going to send this to all employees just so they're aware Mark has done a great job. And this just allows you to get buy-in from your staff. If you're maybe working remotely, you can use the Bitrix HR tools here to bring your staff together to show reward and recognition. And what's really nice is if you do get a badge through the system here, if you go to your profile area, you can see all of those different badges and appreciations. So when you've been recognized for doing a great job, all of those appreciations and awards will be added into the system. Okay, so that's a look at how we can really communicate with our staff through the different features of the feed. And also what's really nice is you can also set up knowledge bases. through the Bitrix24 system. So rather than, if you want to, you could set up knowledge bases to store different information about the company. Maybe if you're wanting to, say, for new employees, have an area to store information about your business, you can set up knowledge bases to store all of this information. So you can have a knowledge base to have that information all in one relevant area for your team to be able to go to and refer to actually taking that knowledge through the knowledge base itself. So you can see there's a huge variety of tools within the HR module that we can use to collaborate with our employees, get engagement for our staff, and also we can create workflows to make information requested as we go through our departments. So we can set up approvals, for example, as I showed you there, leave requests, or it could be business trip expenses. You can manage all of that information using the tools of our HR modules. Now, Bitrix24 are also always releasing new features. So in this demonstration today, we're showing you all of the latest functionality. And the latest functionality that has come to the Bitrix system is an e-signature feature. And this is called Bitrix24 Sign. So as we're coming to the end of today's demonstration, I just want to show you the latest functionality that we have added into the system. So this feature essentially allows you to upload documents which can then be automatically sent out to your clients to hopefully get signed. So this could be, for example, a contract that you're wanting to have signed inside the system. So first of all, I can upload a document into the system, and I can choose the recipient from our CRM system for who we're going to send this actual document to. So I can add that information into the system. And then what we can do is we can add placeholders. So you can see here on the right-hand side, we can add placeholders to actually choose what field we want to add into the document here for signing. So for example, here, if I want to add an area where we want to get the recipient's signature, I can add those placeholders into the document. So we need to get the signature signed on the document here. So you can add your placeholders for the specific pieces of information that need to be signed for. And then what we can do is we can progress that whole signature through different stages. So you can see here we've got different stages that we're progressing our documents through that need signing. And if we open up a document page, when we get that document sent out to the client for signing, you have this document page so you can see every single stage of the signature process. So I can see here when the document was viewed by the recipient. I can see when they've signed that document inside the system. And once all parties have signed that document, I can then see that history directly inside the document itself. So if I click into the document here, what I can see is I can see the signatures have been signed, and I can see the certificate of completion to show that document has been signed in the system. So you have that history of completion for when that document gets signed. So I wanted to end today's demonstration to show you the latest functionality of Bitrix24. And this really does go to show the amount of functionality that Bitrix24 has to offer. It is an incredibly advanced solution, and there are over 40 different tools that you can use on this system to manage your business. So this is the end of today's Bitrix24 full demonstration. I just wanted to summarize really what we've seen today. So first of all, this is a cloud and also a self-hosted solution. So if you're wanting to have this solution hosted locally or on your own private cloud solution, Bitrix24 gives you the functionality to enable you to do that. For maybe security reasons, you wanted to host this on your own private cloud, you have the capability here with Bitrix24. We've seen how we can manage our CRM for managing our sales, integrating lots of different platforms for email, telephony, live chats, social media. All of those connections can be fed into the CRM, so you have a 360-degree view of all of the data with your sales clients. And then we can also build high-level dashboard reports to analyze all of those leads and sales inside the system. And we can use the marketing module to send out very targeted marketing campaigns to the data from our CRM. We then saw how we can use the project management tools to manage projects, and specifically all of the tasks connected to that project directly inside the project system, and how we can invite external users into those projects to collaborate with us. And we saw there how we could use the Scrum feature actually to use Scrum to manage projects as well. We then also saw how we could use HR modules, so how we can communicate with our employees through the system, how we can also send out appreciations or share documents and information through the application. And that's really important to get buy-in from your teams, maybe who are working in different geographical locations. And then we also saw how we can use business processes. So we saw how we could use a leave request to move information around the organization to the correct person at the correct time. And also truly how we could create any type of workflow using business processes or robotic process automation. You could create your very own customized bespoke processes inside the Bitrix24 application. So in summary, the Bitrix24 system is an all-encompassing tool with over 40 different modules that you can use to manage your business. Now, if you have any questions about any functionality on Bitrix24, please do get in contact with our team here at Interface, and we will be happy to help you, and we'll be able to build you a very own demonstration of the Bitrix24 system. Please do contact us, sales@interface.com, and one of our team will be happy to help you. But I hope you found today's Bitrix24 full demonstration useful, and we look forward to you joining our up and coming demonstrations in the future. Bye for now.